How you guys doing? I just wanted to check in. So I have court tomorrow morning here in Ironton at 9:30. I have court with Ironton at 9:30. Yes, I'm gonna change. Oh, sorry about that. The FBI has contacted me. The FBI has reached out to me. Um, Nothing has developed far enough to get into detail. As you guys know, I am here documenting and but sorry about that. I want to play something for you, and I want you to tell me if this applies to today's society right now. I want you to listen to this and tell me what your thoughts are when you hear this. Okay? So I have not left town. I have a choice to file my Replevin Act in the morning and with the judge when I am arraigned for disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. According to what they told me at the jail, the police told me something different. The police told me I was charged with resisting arrest. So I think everybody saw I in no way, shape, or form resist the police. But more than anything else, this will be a very, very short court process because I don't want to tell you everything. Everybody will find out tomorrow morning. But I want you guys to listen to something, please, and let me know if this applies to you. I'm only going to stop it once or twice just to narrate a little bit, but I want you guys to listen to this because what you're going to hear right now is going to make you really, really think. This is going to make you think. And that's what I want. That's what I want. I want you to truly think deeply about America and what you want here, what you want in the United States of America.
You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You are quite right in calling for negotiation. Indeed, this is the very purpose of direct action. Non-violent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such a tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. It seeks so to dramatize the issue that it can no longer be ignored. My citing the creation of tension as part of the work of the nonviolent resistor may sound rather shocking, but I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive, nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. The purpose of our direct action program is to create a situation so crisis-packed that it will inevitably open the door to negotiation.
And that's all we want. We want change. No reason to torture cuff so many people when if you just get them on camera, they'll walk away with you. If you ask them and tell them, if you don't, we're going to drag you off. And you say, you're on camera, sir. I believe that unless they're whacked out on drugs, 90% of people will go.
I guess it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say, wait. But when you have seen vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at will and drown your sisters and brothers at whim, when you have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, brutalize, and even kill your black brothers and sisters with
or just poor white now,
impunity, when you see the vast majority of your 20 million Negro brothers,
the vast majority of your poor friends who don't have an education,
smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, when you suddenly find your tongue twisted and your speech stammering as you seek to explain to your 6-year-old daughter why she cannot go to the public amusement park that has just been advertised on television.
Why are they messing with you, Mom? Why are they messing with you, Dad?
When you take a cross-country drive and find it necessary to sleep night after night in the uncomfortable corners of your automobile because no motel will accept you. When you are humiliated
Or you don't have enough money.
day in and day out by nagging signs reading white and colored, then you will understand why we find it difficult to wait. I've read this many times, but every time I read it, and this is just an excerpt, as you can tell, it's incredibly powerful, and I encourage you to read it in its entirety and think about why this was such a powerful document, especially for catalyzing things like the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
So that was an excerpt of Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter that he wrote when he was in prison in Alabama. I'm well versed on the entire letter. I've read it from top to bottom a few times, should too. And when I sat in jail yesterday, and even 1 minute locked behind bars as though you are an uncontrollable animal is absolute, total barbaric behavior, and I demand a discussion. If you get arrested and you're a regular person, and you should be, if you have to be taken away because it's been a violent situation, you need to be separated from that other person, then you should go to a regular place where there's a microwave and plates and bowls and other people who also had to go there because they were just in a violent situation, where you have your own little room, you shut the door, no one looks up your butthole, and you can be treated humanely. They tried to put me in that space in that car yesterday. Tiny little space, tiny little space. I'm extraordinarily fit and compact, and so I sat down in there as neatly as I could. My feet barely fit in. I do sprints, side shuffles, karaoke. I do 100 push-ups in 2 minutes, right? I nimbly and quickly put myself in the slot so I couldn't have a hand put on my head and they could push me in. Is that you? Are you the same as me, or are we different people? Are we all the same, or are we all different? Is everybody different? Everybody's different, right? What if your arm can't go behind your back? What if you had shoulder surgery? There's no, that's our policy. Not fair, and these guys are in big trouble because they didn't follow proper legal procedure when they arrested me. The procedure of the arrest was done incorrectly. I watched the video. The procedure of the arrest was done incorrectly, so it'll all be dismissed. I have rights. You'll see. So when they arrested me and they put me in that little slot, to be fair to them, of course, because I had already said my arms are not being strapped behind my back. I have bone spurs in both shoulders. You can look at x-rays. I have little prongs sticking out on both shoulders. You get it from a lot of weightlifting. A lot of people get bone spurs just because a bone just keeps growing on the tip of the clavicle. They didn't put the torture cuffs on me tight. They didn't torture me. When I got to the jail, they didn't force me to strip search. They didn't force me to change my clothing. I thank you all for calling about me. The phone rang off the hook. And I'm so grateful for that, because then now let me walk you down the process. Now, when I go into the jail, remember, I'm here alone. There's no cousin, there's no friend, there's no best friend I knew since elementary school like I do in Alaska. I'm here alone. And so initially you go through this thought like, how am I going to get out of here? So then I go over and the guards treated me, they filmed every bit of it. Immediately they ran a digital camera and filmed the digital camera never came off of me. They never stopped filming me, not once. There was literally a guy, one of the guards, Roberts, and I remember a couple other names, and I remember, but they didn't put the torture cuffs on me tight. They only cuffed me in the front, and the cuffs were loose because I told them, I will not get off this seat if you don't want me to. I will not disobey any of your orders, none. And I did not disobey anything they asked me to do. Here's where it went real funny. and we're going to get to the bottom of this right here. When they said they were booking me in, you have to give the police your information. They're charging you with a crime, so you have to identify yourself. And so I identified myself, my name, my date of birth, my address, where I live, and then they asked me for my social security number. I said, you don't need my social security number. That gives you access to all of my personal data, to my records, to my taxes, to everything. And the deputy, the Major Chad, I forgot his last name already. It doesn't matter. We'll find out with the subpoena. Because I'll FOIA that video. I'll get that video that they filmed me. You guys, and then when I get that video, here's what that major said to me. He said to me that I will give him my social security number, or he will book me in as John Doe. And once he books me in as John Doe, he has to send my fingerprints to the FBI to get tested to see if I'm not a wanted criminal. And then I said, I'm not going to give you my social security number because that's not true. You don't have to get my social security number. And then he went out the door. He was very upset that I said, I'm not going to give you my social security number. And then I started to talk to Steve Roberts, who was very respectful. And of course, I am a high profile case in this area. And I talked to Steve, and I came to the conclusion that I had to get Jacob Cochran's video uploaded yesterday. I talked to his cousin and his father. The video was ready for me just to push a button and it would upload. And I thought to myself, if it's true that every leader is investigated from top to bottom, they're going to get everything about me. Everybody's going to know every single detail about everything I've ever done in my whole life. So, okay, I'll give you my social security number, Steve. And he said, okay, what is it? And I started telling my social security number. And then the major came in and said, if he doesn't give you a social security number, you charge him with obstruction of justice. And Steve Roberts, he said, no, he gave it. Just forget about that, Chili. And I said, no, he said he would charge me with obstruction of justice just now. I'm giving you my social security number. But the guy came in hot that I had told him that you don't need that. That's mine. That belongs to me. That's mine. That's my dignity. That's who I am. That's personal. That you don't get that just because you locked me up in jail. You don't get to get the numbers to look up every part of me. That's the same thing. Turn around, squat, cough. Turn around, squat, cough. And we've accepted this. And you just heard the letter from Birmingham, Alabama. If I go back here on this video right here, there is something that you also should see that was so powerful that I saw. So is that true? Is that true? I'm just asking. Is that true that I have to give them my social security number? Is that right? That I have to give the Lawrence County sheriffs my social security number? And the thing is what they said to me was this. They said, see, and they said, everybody else gives us, we need this to fill out your booking. Is that true? Is that true that I have to give them? Or you're not leaving here. You'll get no bond. You'll give us your social security number or you'll get no bond. Think that's right? You think that's fair? Now, I'm going to play something. I'm going to play something for you here. I'm going to show you a little clip of a video right here. And I want you to, instead of looking at this as a racial issue, I want you to change the color of the skin to everybody being white. Everybody in this is white. I want you to change the color of the skin.
Birmingham, they stayed
Wallace responds. Protests are banned. Those arrested forced to pay high bail. Then, America's most prominent
Those arrested forced to pay $1,500.
civil rights leader
Do you have $1,500? Can your friends gather $1,500 for you right now to get you out? Does everybody have a Corey on their team?
comes to Birmingham. Martin Luther
Motorcycle just pulls in front of you. Cop just pulls in front of you. Nobody can do anything to the cop. He can do anything he wants to you. Just make these white people. Just make these white people. It's the same thing. Just make those white people. It's the same thing today, but now you're just the target. You're the piggy bank. I told you guys this. I made it perfectly clear. History is clear. Ronald Reagan cut the tax code. And when that happened, every municipality, state, Fed increased this war on drugs. And that is the reason why most of you believe that you're bad. You talk to me, I've done some things bad. No, you haven't. You're a human being. You were targeted for the drugs you did. Most people have tried drugs. I've never done meth or heroin. I don't really understand that, but who am I to judge you? So, I got to go to court tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So then I'll finish the whole jail process so you guys understand my whole process. And this is the reason why I bring up this letter from Birmingham. Because there was a moment in jail yesterday where, they didn't torture me. They didn't. They put me back in, I think they call it the drunk tank. I scanned all the walls. There's speckles of stuff on the walls, for sure. I took white toilet paper, wetted it down, and I went through the entire room. And any place I saw speckles, I was able to clear speckles off the wall. Is it conclusive that that's blood? Nope. Was I able to scrape speckles off the wall using a piece of tissue? Yeah. Could that be boogers and snot? Sure. Sure, could be. But there's speckles of stuff on the wall that comes off on a toilet paper and it has color on it. So, could that be, dirty? Sure. But, so, when I first got dropped in the drunk tank, you're alone and you're in a room and the walls are decrepit, the place, and so here was something that was telling. I said to the guard, he opened the door and I said, oh man, it stinks. And the guard said, I cleaned it the best I could before you got here. That's what the guard said. When I announced at the city hall that I was peacefully protesting and demonstrating against the corruption in this town and that I couldn't get to meet with the mayor and I couldn't have any kind of justice with the police chief, and so I was going to teach constitutional classes and I was peacefully protesting and more than willing to rent the public space, these are the things I was saying. It doesn't matter because the procedure of the arrest was done incorrectly. Pam, watch it back quick. DA, arrest back on video quick. And you're going to see something if you check. The case will be dismissed as soon as I get the body cams back and the footage back. 100%. They'd messed up. They made a mistake in procedure because they let their ego get in front of the law, and they made a very bad mistake. So then I went back into the drunk tank, and I do what I do when I work out. I dropped down, I hit 100 push-ups in 2.5 minutes. Just boom, 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 cracked them. Then I do jumping air jacks if there's no room to work out or nowhere to run. That's where you jump with your feet spread and you point your toes and you jump as high as you can. And I did that probably 10 or 30 times, something like that. And so the air jacks, and then I did a plank position. And then when I was nice and sweaty and I could feel the sweat rolling down my back, I then sat down and I began to think about the jail that Martin Luther King sat in Birmingham and the price he was willing to pay to change the bullshit system of black people just openly being beaten and not accepting it and being sick of it and being tired of it. And what did he do? He remained peaceful. He remained indignant. He remained protesting. They tried to shut down protests. What happened yesterday? I was peacefully protesting. They came in and yelled at me like they did the black people in 1956, 1955. The exact same thing. You're not allowed to protest. I'm protesting. Would you like to negotiate? No negotiation. You go straight to jail. Book him. Get $1,500, Chili. Thankfully, I have supporters because I'm the tip of the spear. And the weight of the spear came down. And tomorrow we will walk on them. They messed up. Watch the tape back, Pam, District Attorney. Watch it clearly. You'll see you made a mistake. My rights are unequivocal. So, there. Then, when I get out of jail, Mr. Corey Speaker has bailed me out of jail. He put up the entire $1,500 cash, trusting that I would pay him back, and that has already been done. But he put up the money not knowing me as a person at all whatsoever, and he put up the money blindly because he's for justice. Because his arm is split down here. They broke his bones when he was drunk and disorderly. Was he drunk and disorderly? Absolutely. Was he an asshole when he got arrested? He's admitted it. Absolutely. He was an asshole. There's a better way of treating people who are Americans or in America when they are a drunk a-hole. Sorry for the language. I apologize. You don't have to break their arm. When he went to the hospital, the doctor, the nurse, whoever's in the hospital said, "You're fine. Go to the hospital. Go to the jail." His arm was broken. It snapped, broken. They're all colluding together, like the media. Are you guys seeing how fraudulent and what crap the media is? You guys saw everything I've done. I've never raised my voice. I've never cursed any of those people out. I think I did call McKnight on the tape. If you listen close, I think I called him a pussy. He was trying to twist my arm behind my back, and I was just standing peacefully. I'm standing in my space. I'm not moving outward. I'm just standing peacefully. And he kept on trying to jerk my arm, and I said, "You're a pussy, dude." I'm pretty sure I did, just because he is. But it's, you don't try to move a man around, McKnight, okay? You don't do that to men, especially men who are peacefully surrendering to you. You don't need to do that to another person. I was peacefully surrendering to the authority of law. You don't need to twist my arm behind my back. I said to you, I have bone spurs in both of my shoulders. It hurts really bad to put me in handcuffs. Now that you know that, Mr. McKnight, do you still want to put me in handcuffs? After about 5 minutes, if you want to see me cry, tears will start to stream down both of my eyes because my shoulders are in such blistering pain. Such blistering pain. It's incredible. It literally is the bone spur going through my ligament. The bone spur is penetrating the ligament. And I have bone spurs in both shoulders. I can get surgery and get those sawed off. Do you want to have surgery and get your bones sawed off? And oh yeah, by the way, let me take my millions and go do that. I think I'd get my implants first, to be honest with you. And then just say to the police officer, "Listen, I got really bad bone spurs. Please don't put me in those. I'll go with you. If you have to take me to a dungeon, I'll go. Don't put me in those torture cuffs, man. I'm on camera, right? I'll go, dude. I'll go." Not everybody is a psycho. I'd say that 99% of people, there's criminally insane people got to go live in an institution, right? But 95%, 96% of people, when they're not whacked out on drugs, and even people who are a-holes at stops and whacked out on drugs, why can't we figure out a way to treat them better? And by the way, I have it. It's called transparency. It's a whole new system I'm going to lay out over this next week. That's all I'm going to do this next week. I'm sending off all the audios to different I've already sent them off to the different auditors around the country. That's what I've done, who anonymize and are fantastic at their jobs. And so I'm going to lay that out. Listen, I'm still right here in Ironton. I got court in the morning. However, I do have to go to Dallas for a week, 10 days. I got to go get a bunch of stuff, and then I'm coming right back here. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I have to go there to Mississippi to here. Listen, I was gonna go. I still want to go by Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I still want to go by Louisiana. There's people who call for my help, but I need to start to research ordinances here, because I think that Terry versus Ohio was passed here, and I feel like destiny has brought me to Ohio. I mean, if you guys didn't know, I've been talking about Terry versus Ohio for, I mean, you guys are lucky we just met, and I'm not a broken record. I talk about Terry versus Ohio. And now destiny has brought my it feels like it's my fate. And I think there's so much corruption here that, MLK in Birmingham, you say, why did you go to Birmingham? Why would you go to Montgomery? Why would you go to Selma? Why would you go to those places at all? A black man in the 50s, late 50s, why would you go there? And when you research MLK Jr. enough and you watch enough tapes, you clearly get the understanding, and he said that that's where he was needed the most. And I beg all of you, listen to me, a new day has dawned. Don't give any of these trolls power. And just so you guys know, I'll never debate a cop sucker again. I won't acknowledge trolls anymore. It's time to move forward. They're status quo. We're change. We're change. They are status quo people. They accept what happens to you. Don't engage. Don't send me videos that people make of me that are negative. I don't care. They are the same. We're change. So how can you change if you're busy talking to the same? Move forward. Don't empower any of those fools on Facebook. I'm suing a few people, right? But let it happen in the court. Don't give them any public power. Remember, these people during the how do you say this? Just so you guys know, there was no desegregation in 1954. Brown versus Board of Education clinically desegregated, but there was no desegregation. Remember, Eisenhower had to bring troops in to let the kids go to schools. There was no desegregation, especially throughout the South. As a matter of fact, there's a very famous Alabama Supreme Court case where they defy the Supreme Court order. And then that case goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, no, you're going to enforce segregation. And then the Alabama governor, he says, well, then let the Supreme Court enforce it. Then let them enforce it. They think we're going to desegregate? No, we're not. Real desegregation didn't happen in the South until 1964 with the Civil Rights Act. That's when it happened. So that's where we are together. Don't give these trolls any life. Don't give these trolls any life. Don't give them any life. So focus on the layout, transparency. You guys will have to be without me for 2 weeks. And what are you going to do when I'm gone? You're going to film the cops. You're going to film them in 7-Eleven. You're going to announce, cop filming, because you want to disrespect these guys. You want them to know that you have them on notice. Now, most people don't just start filming cops in 7-Eleven, but that's where we have to go. Because the beating I saw in the Quickie Mart I showed it. It's on video. I didn't do that. I didn't go in for a guy with a warrant and then beat his ass, throw him on the ground. And listen to me, just so you know, that guy with the warrant, I could take him to jail by myself without ever touching him. I would tell him straight up, dude, you're on camera. You're coming with me, dude. And if you don't, then I'm going to drag your ass and it's going to be horrible for you. But instead, if you want, man, finish getting your groceries and let's go check in. And then I wouldn't have to arrest his wife too. I wouldn't have to arrest his wife who was working at the store. Did I do that? So, okay. Listen, I have to prepare for court in the morning. I really don't have that much to prepare other than the stuff we're going to file that replevin. The Ohio replevin is generally defined as the repossession of personal property wrongfully taken. And that, by the way, is what the FBI was concerned about. They were concerned about my phone being taken and me being a journalist and having informants on there. That's the beginning of the conversation. As you know, I will report everything, absolutely everything. There'll be nothing hidden. We'll be 100% as transparent as we can. Okay, we're going to continue to be peaceful. Don't pay attention to these trolls. You don't need to screenshot what they say about me and send it to me. I don't really care. I don't really care. You know, when I was in jail yesterday, after I did the squats and I did the power jumps and I did the push-ups and, you know, I went through this routine so that I could focus on something different than being locked in a dungeon that stunk. And after I did those things, then I sat down and I just, in my mind, read MLK Jr.'s letter when he was in Birmingham. And I read it in my mind, and I read it in my mind, and I read it. And I just sat there and I kept on reading it. And then the more that I read Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter, I just kept thinking, the change is now. The change is right now. History, just so you know, on the timeline that I taught on for 3 or 4 months, history is every 60 to 120 years. Every 60 to 120 years, history cycles, history cycles, history cycles. Every 60 to 120 years. Go back and watch some of my educational videos. I show it. I prove it. You know, and I can, off the top of my head, you know, Pace versus Alabama, 1883, which is going to criminalize interracial relationships, is going to be decriminalized, where you can actually marry black or white, Asian people or Mexican people, and that's going to happen from 1883 to the Loving versus Virginia in 1967. How many years is that? You can't marry an Asian black. I mean, you can, depends on if you're liked or not by the people who are in charge. Sound familiar? You know, oh, by the way, he's got an Asian wife. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Dude, he's got an Asian wife? How's he getting away with having an Asian wife? You're not supposed to have an Asian wife. Dude, yeah, he's got an Asian wife, man. I think they're having an Asian kid. What? A Jap? A Japanese kid? You kidding me? He's got an Asian wife? I'd talk to that guy. And then what they used to call it, they used to call it a slur. It used to be called a slur. Yellow fever. You had yellow fever. I had an Asian girlfriend for 7 years. So I guess you would label me a slur. Right? And this was widely tolerated. This was widely tolerated. I could go to this guy and be like, dude, he's got an Asian wife. Well, remember, we nuked Japan. We nuked Japan to end World War II. Done. It's over, right? And so Pace versus Alabama, Loving versus Virginia, 67 years, and back to 83, so that's 17 years. 67, 77, 85 years. Took 85 years before the one Supreme Court could tell the other Supreme Court, why did they rule like this, man? This is some bullshit. And they overruled that, but it took 85 years. And then you're going to have the Voting Rights Act of 1965 will overrule Giles versus Jackson and Giles versus Harris, 1803. Giles versus Jackson is when Giles Jackson sues the Board of Electors in Alabama. And he just happened to sue 2 different Board of Electors in 1803, 1804. And the Board of Electors that he sues, obviously Harris and Teasley, the Alabama Board of Electors wins both times. And they deny him the right to vote. He had voted in Alabama every year until they changed the state constitution in 1802. And then he didn't vote in 1802, 1803, 1804. And he didn't get to vote again the rest of his life. And he died because Giles versus Harris and Giles versus Teasley wasn't overruled until the 1965 Civil Rights Voting Act. So how many years is that? From 1903 to 1965, that's 62 years. 60 years. Brown versus Board of Education, 1954, is going to overrule Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896. What's that? 54, 96, 58, 60 years. Terry versus Ohio passed in 1968. This is 2022. Where are we at? Right there, right? Right there. Okay? So, it's secular. It's secular. We're what are we, 50, 56, 57, 58 years? So we're that close to change. We're that close to change. So are you ready for it? You can't be flying with eagles if you're down with the, I forgot the saying. You can't fly with eagles if you're going to mess with pigeons or something like that. You can't keep messing with the, I don't want to even engage them anymore. Let's focus on the change. Transparency is coming. I'm going to be gone for about 2 weeks. And then I'm coming back to Ohio, and I'm going to change my residency to right here in Ohio. I'm moving here. I love Southern California. I never thought I'd move away. Terry v. Ohio has to be overturned. And that's my life's mission. So we do it together. All right, we do it together. I actually have got to go. So imagine that. Imagine that. There was people I was supposed to meet this afternoon, but I got caught up on that call with the FBI. And so I wanted to see what was going on with them, return that phone call. And now I'm going to make a couple phone calls with people who I was actually going to go over some people's houses, but getting this phone put together. Oh, I'm super grateful. They want to remain anonymous, but someone swung by and dropped me off a phone, and I want to say thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So now I'm talking on the phone that was loaned to me from someone who doesn't know me. They don't know me at all. And I told them I would return their phone, and I will. So I'm grateful for that. And then tomorrow, I'm going to try to get my phone back, which, by the way, it's a public hearing tomorrow at 9 a.m. I hope you guys all come. It's public tomorrow at 9 a.m. I hope everybody comes. Come on down. It's time to peacefully protest. Don't disrupt the hearing. Don't talk out loud. Just sit there and be polite and be respectful. Peacefully assemble. Remember, when you guys saw me get arrested yesterday, I never raised my voice. I never cursed at those people who I don't respect. When Pam, you guys even heard when the camera was off rolling, and Pam, I said, respectfully, Pam, turn my phone off. And she said, oh, there's no more respect. And I said, well, what you do to people is atrocious. But I didn't say, you, this name, that name. I didn't say that, because we're going to do this through peace and through assembling. And so I hope you guys will all assemble in the courthouse tomorrow. I hope everybody comes to assemble peacefully to let the judge know that taking a journalist's phone is wrong. And it's illegal in every different way. And so we'll be filing the Rip 11, and I'll be informing the judge that, Your Honor, you may be the highest man of justice here, but the implications of this case are national. And that's true. The implications of taking my phone from the same department I sued, when I'm taking confidential videos and they're publicly posted, of people who are claiming that the Ironton police and Pam Wagner is in on atrocities and violations of the First, Second, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, and Eighth Amendment rights, and then you confiscate the journalist's phone. This has national implications, Your Honor. And believe me, the world is now watching. To the auditors who have made replica videos, thank you. Thank you so much. It's across the YouTube. I can't repost all of the videos of the auditors who have posted reposts about Ironton. I am so grateful. Feel free. And even those trolls, I don't care. Make all the videos you want about me. Change has arrived, and we don't stop. We will never, ever stop. I'm in town. I'll be in town tomorrow. I'll be in town the next day. But I got to go to Dallas for 2 weeks here pretty quick. The internal affairs investigation tomorrow with Yunez, we're only exhausting all administrative actions before the lawsuit. That's all we're doing. So we're just exhausting this administrative option. That's what you have to do before you file a federal civil rights lawsuit. And so that's why I'm going to miss it. But Yunez is a big boy. He can go to that meeting. I wanted to be there to help them, to let Forney know that we would never stop. Forney, Texas is the same. Forney, Texas is the same as this place. No. This is some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. But it's okay. That's why I'm coming here. That's why I'm going to change my residency to Ohio. I'm going to be an Ohioan. I never thought that in my life. I never in my life thought I'd be an Ohioan. Never. This has to change here. And then we spread. We spread. We change it here. Okay. I'll run on my new political party right here. I'll run on the new political party right here in Ohio. I wrote a whole new party too. Did I tell you that? Entire new political party. It's called the Transparency Civil Rights Party. That's what it's called. And the platform divides up some of the things that the left and the right do, and we have a different color than they. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get the flock out of here. If you guys, you can still get the free trifold. I was going to, remember that had a cutoff date. there's no cutoff date. You can get the free trifold anytime you want. Go to DeleteLawZ.com, put in free trifold when you check out, and then you got to print it. Everybody, I should see everybody's printed trifold. Everybody should be sending me a picture. You want to send me a picture? Don't send me a picture of trolls talking shit. I don't care. Don't involve yourself with them. Whoop, whoop. We move forward to overturn Terry and to get rid of these damn torture cuffs and to get rid of this incredible prison system. That's not justice. That's torturing another human being. If someone wrongs you or hurts you or your family, they should be punished. But that punishment and the restitution should be for you. Not to just torture a human being so that when we let him out, he's an animal. He's an animal with a felony now and a drug problem. It's the wrong way for society, and I'm going to fix it. I swear to God. Okay? All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you, man. We don't stop. We don't stop. Let me see 10 of them and I'm gone. We don't stop. Type it. We don't stop. Let me see 10. We don't stop and I'm gone. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. Like your OCD with a broken record. We don't stop. Ever. 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 Don't talk to me about trolls. I don't give a dang. Oh, yeah. I got to get the fuck out of here, man. All right. Love you guys, man. I'm really tired. I'm really tired. I just need some sleep. That's all. But I'm more alive than ever. Woo! All right. Let's get the fuck out of here. We don't stop. Later, guys.